Where exactly will Treydan Stukes line up for the Las Vegas Raiders? After being selected 38th overall in the 2026 NFL Draft, the former Arizona Wildcat defensive back has everyone debating his true position. Is he a ball hawking safety, or does his elite 4.33 speed make him the ultimate NFL nickelback? Welcome back to Bart. Next stop, Stooks Street.
Just win, baby.
If you want to chase championships, you want to chase wins, you want to chase rings, you have to be held to the highest standard. Like, it starts in phase 2, and then it starts in phase 3, OTAs. You don't become a championship team, when the playoffs get here.
Y'all heard the man. Y'all heard the man. Welcome to Business Decision Sports. It's your boy Black, the quarterback, back with another installation of the bar at the Bay Area Raiders Talk. And today we talking Treydan Stukes. So in this video, we're going to break down his college film, analyze his elite closing speed, and look at how his positional flexibility changes the dynamic of the Raiders secondary. We're going to discuss the value of his hybrid defense. We're going to discuss, We're going to discuss the value of his hybrid defensive back skills in today's NFL, where he can make the biggest immediate impact. So if you love deep diving, analytical type content and breakdowns, make sure y'all go and join the sub club and hit the "you feel me" right underneath there. And make sure you hit that notification bell. What's good? What's up with my boy Jack? He's in the building. And what's up with the rest of the chat Raiders, man? So you seen it, Stooks. So saying you gotta win championship. You start winning the championship in the offseason. It don't happen after you start winning games and seeing is believing and going and taking the hit of hopium and hope we end up in the playoffs and then hope we end up in the Super Bowl. That's not how it happened. The works get done in the offseason. Like he said, phase 2, then phase 3, and then you play games, and you already got to have that belief. So today we're gonna break down we're gonna go ahead and just debunk this whole he's a nickel cornerback thing, because everyone's saying, why did we sign a nickel back when we needed a safety and we got him in the second round? So we went to like the Hall of Famer, Eric Allen, cornerback. So if anybody's going to know anything about cornerbacking, it's going to be my boy EA. So let's get into it and make sure y'all hit that like button so we can get us video in the algorithm and get the rest of the nation on board. Let's get it.
The way this guy plays, he's kind of like a joker, middle of the field football player, does an amazing job of being all over the field. Here, he's covering the slot guy. And again, we have to have a versatility to be able to be a great DB in the National Football League. This tells me a couple things here. This tells me that he understands route combinations, comfortable enough to know that he can undercut that deep out route and come up with the big time play.
Yeah, on that deep out route, you see him guarding a lot of space and the man cut and showing man coverage. He keeping his leverage, and he looked for the ball, and it stuck to him because of his flawless technique.
Now we're going to see if he can play some zone. And of course, he's on the stretch. He's on the outside edge playing cover 2, so that means he has deep half. You have to kind of sort through this stacked bunch here, and the corner's going to take that outside route. That safety, you need to expand, and you have to make that play at great range for this young man.
Now take a look at this. He's playing cover 2 in the zone right now. And the thing about it is you have to cover a lot of space if you're in that cover 2. You got to make sure you don't get beat on the post. And this is a good cover 2 cover two beater, the post corner, which is my favorite route running as a wide receiver. And watch how he shows great body control. He finished the play with excellent mono skills. You see that? See how he's looking for the ball? He's already looking for the ball. Body control, knocks the ball down, mono skills. And so, one thing that Charles Woodson says is, you ask, why don't corners get a lot of interceptions nowadays? And he said simply because they don't look for the ball. They're playing the man, they want to run up, and then when the wide receiver lifts his hands, then you want to put your hands in between, or you want to knock the ball away, or you watching for the receiver eyes to get big so you can try to put your arms in the way. Receivers are getting better. I know I was really good at having what I call lazy eyes. Like when you're looking for the ball, you don't want your eyes to get big because he's reacting off of you. Also, you want to have laid hands. You don't want to throw your hands up early because then he's knowing it's time to put the arms in there. And ideally, you want to go up and get the ball. But if you are going to put your hands out like that, make sure you have late hands. So that's a good thing for him that we see that he's a ball hawker. He's looking for the ball. And as you look at his videos and his clips, that's a constant.
Now, our next clip here, we're talking about a guy who's all over the football field. Let's run this tape and just see again how explosive he can be. We have to be stout on the running game. Again, the one critique I have is in the National Football League, man, you're going to have to go a little low. We're going to wrap those legs because the guys up here, they want you to try and go up high. But again, showing you that he makes plays in the backfield.
Yeah, he definitely reads, react, and respond. You see, his feet was moving. He wasn't taking false steps. He was reading the play. Eyes was open. And then once he saw it was a run, he attacked the line of scrimmage. Read, react, and respond. You read the play, you react, trust your eyes, and then you respond by closing out and making the play, making the tackle, stopping the guy behind the line of scrimmage. So one thing EA did say is he wants him to work on his pad level. That's a knock that he needs to work on, and he's going to address that later. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Um, but as far as his ability to tackle, that's good. He came from the middle of the field, saw the play, closed out, made the play. That's what we need.
This is an amazing play by our new safety. Come off the play action. You got to read it. Look at the ball skills of this guy. He went up top and got it. I mean, yes, it's against my Sun Devils, but that was an amazing play. Just shows you his ball skills. And when the Raiders defensively are great, guys, we all know we have tremendous output in getting interceptions.
Call that play one up top. I'll call this guy the Big Cat. I think that's the nickname I want to give him, the Big Cat. Once again, he shows great body control. He attacked the ball at the right time. He high points the ball. Ball is mine mentality. DBs are wide receivers that can't catch, but not this guy. Watch the body control so he don't run through the defender. He's locating the ball, make the play, jump up, make an athletic play, and catches the ball. Like I said, you know that they say DBs are wide receivers that can't catch. And he definitely went up and caught the ball at his highest point. That's why the receiver should go up and get the ball to contest it. But if you want to be lazy as a receiver and want the ball to drop in your hand like a bread in the bread basket, this is where you go and get the ball as a defender. When that ball is in the air and 50-50, nah, it's more like 90-10. And that was a mentality you got to have as a cornerback or a safety when the ball is in the air.
I like the way this guy plays. He's kind of like a joker, middle.
So if the Hall of Famer EA, he already called him a safety. He said it's our new safety. Like we need to go ahead and stop being so, I don't know what the word is, sensitive about what he was drafted as on paper. If you notice, a lot of the trend that we have going on is we're picking players that can play multiple positions, versatility, no different than Treydan. You heard Coach Kubiak say yesterday. He got this guy because he know he can play all five positions. Same thing with your boy Stukes. Sure, he did play nickel. Yeah, he played nickel. He played nickel before he got injured primarily, and then he played a lot of safety too. They played like a three back safety system, so he has the versatility to do both. And he majority played safety, well, I'll say 47% of the time at safety. So he definitely has the range. He has the ability, and shown on tape, it shows that he actually has the ability to cover. Unlike the position we put Malu in last year, which is a strong safety, but we wanted him to play more free safety. And it was an adjustment period for him, and his cover skills is not the same as Stooks. So I'm glad to see that we did pick this guy in the second round. I think it was a very competent draft pick, and I think he's going to really put us on the map and also help us close that gap and that space and that void that we had from losing Merrick because of essentially a salary situation. We couldn't afford to keep paying him the money that Carolina did. So we did get us a replacement. Now let's see if he lives up to the hype. Now, Just Win did an interview with Stokes. It was a real good interview. I really like this offseason that people are taking time to get to know the players, not just hearing little clips about who this person is or what this person is about. Same thing that happened to Coach Robbie. A lot of people didn't understand or like that hire, but he ended up coming in and getting a few people from the nation on his side because they start understanding his history and what he stood for and why the players love him. So here's a center view of our boy Treydan Stukes. Once again, straight out, shout out to Just Win podcast for the interview. Oh, wait. Before I do that, though, I want to show you what Coach Kubiak said, since people don't want to believe what position he plays.
Treydan Stukes, his versatility in the secondary, what kind of key piece is he going to be?
You said Stukes? Yeah, that's why we drafted him. Very similar to Trey Zune, a guy that can play a lot of spots, a guy that has leadership, and those are all the things he did in college. But now he's got to go show it at this level. He's off to a good start, and he's got some really talented coaches that are leading him. But I can't, when he walks out there, he's dialed in. He knows what to do, and he's a guy that just kind of finds his way around the ball.
Yeah, see, a lot of high expectations for this guy. Uh, Coach Koob said already that he's looking for a leader. He's looking for a captain. This guy's been a captain playing in college, so the expectation is the same, if not more, at the higher level. So, hey, I think it's a very competent draft pickup, like I said. Now, I've heard some crazy things all around about our secondary. I heard that Darian Porter is the most athletic corner that we have in the DB room. That he should even be starting over Stokes. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you feel that, um, being that Porter is a new cornerback, and you feel like he can be a safety, a starting corner, what makes you think a guy of Stooks' caliber can't play nickel and safety or play safety? I'm not understanding that, but maybe you guys can help me. And then the same person was saying McCoy is the best man corner since Namdi. Now let me help y'all with this. I don't know, maybe y'all didn't really watch Namdi like that, and y'all was kind of just caught up in the fact that he had good seasons. I guess you guys don't really remember that on the other side that he had Woodson and they were throwing at Namdi. Okay, let's just say it wasn't even Woodson. Actually, let's just say it's not Woodson, right? Namdi, great corner for us. I wouldn't call him one of our greatest, but he's up there. He's in the room. He was a coverage corner. He wasn't a man cover because then once he got the bag, because they thought he was an all around corner, he got exposed. He got exposed because he could not play man coverage as well as he played cover coverage, which is not a knock to him, but let's just kind of slow down, calm down on his projections as far as making things in your mind. Let's let things mature the way that they supposed to, and let's see how these players play out. Because even on paper, what y'all talking about don't even make sense. But hey, you never know. I've seen crazier things happen. But let's take a look at this center view of our boy Treydan Stukes.
So yeah, like my position was called field cat back at Arizona this past year. And it's kind of like it's almost like a three safety shell look. It gives me a lot of opportunities. I was usually playing to the field side. I rolled down into some nickel spots. Do a lot of the nickel techniques that I had been doing for the past couple seasons, and then it also gave me a chance to back up and like play some free safety. Play some quarters, play some cover two, even get in the middle and play some post. And I think that gave me an opportunity to show that I'm able to learn them all, which is one side of it, and I have the physical capability to play them all. That versatility gave me a good chance to make plays in that defense, and going forward, I think it just gives me the option, to stay on the field. Like, there's a lot of packages, there's a lot of like the NFL's a matchup league. And, when you can do multiple things, it allows you to stay on the field and still contribute and, help the defense, win the play, win the down, win the series, and win the game. So I think, just getting that versatility back at Arizona is going to give me a chance to be able to learn and be able to play multiple positions at this level and stay on the field to keep affecting our defense and opposing offenses.
Wildcat, field cat, big cat. It don't matter. We got a cat in there. We got a big dog up in there, like a big cat. I ain't talking about the little meow meows. I'm talking about like the big cats. You know what I'm talking about. So his ability to have a bunch of uh, versatility is going to work in our favor. Swiss Army knife. One thing I'm trying to get people to understand: let's not get caught up so much on who's starting. It's going to be about packages. Who's going to be able to like show I'm the guy in this package or I belong in this package. So that way, if they try certain things and certain downs and certain distances, and we put certain packages in there, of certain people in certain packages, then we can get the results that we want. And I think Stoops is going to be one of them guys. I think actually it's going to be a few guys like that in our secondary. And I think it's going to be a who's who of our defense, because one week is going to be Stooks, another week is going to be Johnson, another week it might be McCoy make a couple plays, and don't forget our boy Red Stokes. You feel me? So, hey, I think our defense is going to shock a lot of people. Our defense is going to shock a lot of people, but in the NFL, it's the best of the best. And if you don't have the ability to play multiple positions, then you're limiting how much you are going to be able to stay on the field. And this kid or this young man, he really, really trying to find his way on the field. And I don't have any doubt that he will, that he'll get there on the field. All right, let's take a look. Here's a question that everybody want to talk about. What's his best position, free safety or cornerback? And this is what he had to say.
I honestly like just at this point, I really don't have like a preference for one or the other. Like I feel super comfortable, super confident playing some safety and playing some nickel. I played a lot of nickel at Arizona. I didn't play as much safety, like I only did it this past season. But I felt really confident back there, seeing things develop in front of me and being able to break on footballs and make plays on the ball, kind of read through receivers and see the quarterbacks throwing, see the hand come off the ball, that type of thing. So I think I'll have a chance to be effective at either one, and I really don't have a preference at this point yet.
And what people are maybe not understanding is the advantage of being able to play that nickel guy, that nickel back, because those receivers are very elusive. It helps you with your coverage, and it helps you with your man-to-man skills, your mano y manos, when you're in that nickel. So the fact that he got a lot of reps at nickel is, excuse me, is good, and we know he can cover. Versus if he was, let's say, really good or very good, or like proficient at coverage, but his man-to-man skills was lacking a little bit. And then that's when you get the wide receivers that can get loose or whatnot, like similar to how Hunter Renfro was doing. It makes it a little more difficult. But being that he has a lot of reps at nickel, he knows what he's seeing. He can trust his eyes and he can make plays, because of essentially what we want is turnovers at that position. I tell people that's hard to do, very hard to create turnovers on defense, especially in the secondary ones, because you gotta like really pay attention. The corner don't know where the receiver is going, but the receiver knows, and the quarterback knows. So for us to get a turnover out the secondary, it take real astute players. So I think this young man, is one of them. Playing nickel is an advantage for him, because look at Paul Malu. Um, Being that he lacked his cover skills, he got exposed in the secondary. Not to say he wouldn't have got better this year in his second year, which I'm sure he will get some time back there. I'm pretty sure we're not going to totally just take out his experience from last year. I mean, you got to get paid for what he was getting burnt last year. So I'm sure he got those things in his minds, and then he was working. He started to work on some of them things if he wants to be on the field, because surprisingly, well, surprisingly to me, not shocking, but surprisingly, Jeremy Chin came in and played very, very, very solid. I knew he was going to be good if we used him right, if we used him like as a box safety where he doesn't have to cover a lot. Once I saw that, I knew that he was being um, set up for success. So much success that he pretty much played Palomalo out of a job, right? Because now a lot of people are saying Palomalo might either go to the bench, or they're saying that he might not even be a Raider, which I think is insane. But hey, whatever. People think what they think. I'm not going to tell you how to Raider until it happens or it don't happen. So um, I just think that him playing nickel really, really is going to help him a lot in this transition from being a rookie and just trying to hit the ground running and not make as many mistakes. What's up with Willie Wayne? What's up with Jack Kenna? Jack Gusto? What's up with y'all? Now, this is where he's going to show his smarts. What is the difference between playing like a boundary corner and your nickel coverage?
Most obvious one is just kind of like the receiver body type. You go against outside guys; they're your taller, big catch radius guys, long speed guys, and then you come inside, and it's usually your twitchier athletes. They are really sudden out of their cuts and that type of thing. And then like as far like more little nuances, it's just like a technical thing. Like you play a lot more press man, playing outside corner. You work that in that in the NFL. You got to understand the cutoff for pressing. You can only get 5 yards to reroute and that type of thing. So, it changes like leverages, knowing where your help is. If you have a middle safety, if you have a low hole player playing at nickel, then you can play outside leverage and use your help to your advantage. When you're outside at corner, you may not have that same help. You might have to, cover both ways, and you might be by yourself unless you get like a post or something that goes right to the middle safety.
The
So
island.
just understanding those little type of things, and understanding where your help is, understanding how to use it, what leverage to take, and executing your job and going forward.
Yeah, I really like that the way he break it down because you got to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. If you're on the outside, so a lot of times you're gonna be on an island, and that's usually your best corners. I think Stokes is gonna be that guy this year. He showed that he was able to play on that island. So we're hoping. No, I have faith in him that he's gonna continue to play at that level because he found a home. He likes it here, obviously, and whenever you feel good, you play good. If you look good, you play good. That's true. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, you get paid good. You know who said that. And put it in the chat if y'all know who said that. So, yeah, I like the fact that he's a cerebral player. He's smart. He has athleticism. He has speed and he has good he was raised really really well and you can see that and we're bringing in a lot of character guys and guys that's hardworking that's ready to learn and ready to take this franchise to the next level, so you guys should be very very excited. I'm very excited about what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing the changes that we're making. I'm telling people over and over, as long as y'all will listen, we win championships from the top down, not the player up. It's starting to trickle down now. We're seeing that we got the Spike Tech doing his thing, the Spy Hunter. Then we got TB12 with his hands on things. You see it. People are upset that Mendoza's not starting. We're taking our time. We're doing the things the right way. We got Ice Kubiak, obvious genius on the offense, and you can see how he's running our organization, all even up to the OTAs right now, earning your shield, things like that, things that we have not seen in a long time. Matter of fact, things that a lot of y'all haven't seen ever being a Raider fan. But I've been a Raider fan. I've been a Raider for a long time, so I've seen a lot of things. So I'm just trying to show you guys, like, hey, we're starting to turn the corner. All that faith y'all had last year, now y'all hoping that we good. Nah, use that faith y'all had last year and the faith we had with AP and bring it on out and put it on this. I'm telling y'all, this is Vegas. I'm trying to tell y'all want to win big, you got to put it on there. You can't go a little bit at a time hoping you win because you're going to get busted that way. So I am telling y'all right now, the Raiders is doing their thing. All right, let's get to I think every player or most players I know as a player, I had players I patterned my game after. When I was playing wide receiver, first team all conference, you know what I mean? Uh, I patterned my game after Tim Brown. I actually got to meet Tim Brown and everything at my school, and it just made me feel even better about him being my comp, my player comp. So I really like Tim Brown. And then when I played corner, my player comp was Charles Woodson. Let's see who Treydan Stukes patterned his game after.
My favorite corner growing up was actually Asante Samuel when he was in Philly. I used to watch a lot of his games. He was a big time playmaker down there. I used to watch Denzel Ward a lot, and he's a freak athlete, and he used to do some crazy plays playing outside corner. I've enjoyed watching Kyle Hamilton.
Okay.
He's a really versatile player, and he's able to affect games in so many different ways. And I think that's a model defensive back.
How many of y'all know about Asante Samuels? What y'all know about Asante Samuels? You know, what I like about a player that compare himself or model his game after a player like Asante Samuels, he could affect the game on three levels. He can affect it from the safety position, the safety, the corner, the boundary corner position, and the nickelback position. And one thing I loved about Asante Samuels, I know that he came out and he was saying, like, Dion is dope, but I'm dope too. And I think a lot of people were sleeping on Asante. He was like one of the original dreadheads. That's what I was calling him back in the day, was one of the original dreadheads. Remember when a quarterback would throw an interception and then somebody with dreads would run by, intercept it, and be gone. Dreads in the wind. Original dreadhead Asante Samuel. If you got some time, go on YouTube and watch how he plays. He's very opportunistic. He tries to go after the ball. The nation has called. They said we want turnovers. We got us a guy that is ball hawking, chicken hawking. You feel me? So go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you, Jack Kenner, for hitting the sub. You part of the sub club. Thank you, Brody. I appreciate you and everybody else that does the same. Follow the line. Frank Weber, what's good with you, brother? So Asante Samuels, not a bad person to model your game after. And then he also named. I'm not going to say the other team because we still might be feeling some type of way about the Max thing. But if you look at KH, you can see that if he wants to model his game after him like that, then that's only positive. You feel me? So shout out to those players. I do like those players. Now, this is a center view, not highlights, not interviewing, just the best things. What I really, really liked about these guys at the Just Win podcast, they asked them, what are some things that you need to work on? And this is what he said.
Focusing on my pad level, making sure I'm down. You know, these backs are really good. They're the best in, you know, the nation, probably the world. You got to make sure that you're hitting with the right part of your body. You know, your shoulder, chest up, eyes up, whatever, all that stuff. Getting confident at this level, you know, and not sitting back there dwelling on, you know, thinking about too much. Just allowing myself to, you know what I'm doing, know what we're trying to accomplish, and then going out there and playing ball. Because you know it's football. At the end of the day, there's a lot of moving parts, but you know, when you're confident and you're playing freely, that's when you're playing your best stuff. So yeah, just developing that, getting confident, getting comfortable, and going.
Yeah. So either he's very self-aware about himself, either he listened to EA, either it's all of the above, but this young man got it. I hate calling him kid, even though I'm old enough to be his dad, you know, but this young man, he gets it. And you understand, you got to get that pad level down. Otherwise, you're going to get ran over like in this intro that I have where like Genty run these guys over. That's why a lot of these guys get ran over because they think Vinny is a small guy and they run up to him and just try to tackle him and just bully him. No, you can't do that at this level, especially as the elite running backs, or you're gonna be on a highlight or you're gonna be on an intro. So shout out to Stukes for being aware of that, and that's something to work on. Just get a little bit lower, take them knees out, grab them legs. They can't go nowhere without that without no wheels. So grab them legs, brother. All right. What does being a Raider mean to him up until this point? And how does he feel about Kurt? I mean, how does he feel about Kubiak? And how does he feel about Rob Leonard, Coach Robbie? And he really gave us some insight. So check it out.
The Raiders have always been known for their, you know, tough physicality. You know, back in the day, they was a little dirty, and they embraced it. That's kind of the mindset that I've seen since I've been here. To be honest, like it is like they really do embrace it. You know, the silver and black is is different from the other 31 teams. And there's a lot of players that have come through, a lot of coaches, a lot of managers that have come through that are the best at what they've done. And there's going to be some big shoes to fill. There's been a lot of good defensive backs that have played, when they were back in Oakland, and now that they're in Vegas. It's been really cool to get to know more about Raiders history. We've been going through a little bit since we've been up here, and it's really cool to get to know what's been going on, in all the years leading up to this one. So Coach Kubiak is, he's a pioneer of that. He's leading that. He's making sure we understand, what it means to wear that crest on our chest and on our helmet. That's just an ode to him as a coach. I think he's he's smart. He's detail oriented. He's process oriented, and he's putting together a good squad. And he's not trying to like wait. We're trying to do it right.
Yeah.
And he.
How many people caught that? How many people caught that? He ain't trying to wait. I understand he's telling the nation that, all right, this is a building process, which is true. It's true, right? But if he comes out and say, we're trying to win now, then everybody gonna do like they did last year when Pete Carroll said, hey, I won 10 games every year. We thought that meant we were gonna win 10 games. No, what he was saying was, look, if y'all give me time, I'll get us to the point where we could win 10 games. But we got so frantic about it. So now Coach Koob is not even playing his hand like that. He's saying this is a building process. But you could tell by the way we're moving, we're not trying to like I heard, we're not trying to start Kirk Cousins 12 games and then be in the race for the top 5 picks and then throw in Mendoza, and that way if we only win a couple games, we still get a top draft pick. That is not what we're doing. That is not the mentality. Matter of fact, that's not even a championship mentality. That's not a win mentality, so I don't see that to be what we're trying to do. I see us trying to win games now, and I do think that our floor should be 6 games. Our floor should be 6 games and up to 8. 6, 7, or 8 will be good. That's winning now. That is winning now. And then next year we could build off that. If we get 6 games wins this year, 7 games this year, then that means we should be pushing for playoffs the following year. And if we don't get it the following year, we definitely should be in that thing the third year, which is building, which it usually takes about 3 years to turn a franchise around with the draft picks and coaching changes and head office readjustments and things like that. I think we are on a I won't say a fast track, but we're definitely ahead of the curve, and we should be able to see that because we've been behind the curve for so long that we should be excited about that. Not overly excited, not, oh, we're going to win 10 games. If you believe that, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that. But at the end of the day, don't have this expectation that if we don't do that, then our season is a failure to some degree. I think if we double our games, that'll show we're on the right path, and then we can just go from there. So I think he tipped his hand right there, Coach Koob's hand, which I'm not mad at because that's the mentality I want our players to have. We trying to do it right now. So it ain't nothing to sit back about and just try to, go along and hopefully one day it shows up. We're trying to win now. Well, we're trying to win starting now. I won't say we're not trying to win now, but we're trying to start to win now.
He's been super good for us rookies. It's been good to have him as a resource and have him be the leader of this organization because you can just tell what he's about his business, and we're going to get after it while he's the head of the snake. And it's kind of the same thing with Coach Leonard. He's a super smart guy. He knows exactly what we're trying to accomplish on defense, and he's holding us to a high standard, and that's what we need. If you want to chase championships, you want to chase wins, you want to chase rings, you have to be held to the highest standard. Like it starts in phase 2 and then it starts in phase 3 OTAs. You don't become a championship team when the playoffs get here. So he's been doing a great job getting the rookies up to speed and holding us to that standard that he's holding to the veterans too also. So we all understand, what we're trying to get done here, and we're all pouring everything we got into it. So, we're gonna get after it this year.
Yep. Shout out to the Just Win podcast. Like I said, we're gonna get after it this year. And that championship mindset starts now. It starts now. It doesn't start after you start winning games and then you want to get confident about it. You have to put in the work that you know is required. And if you don't know what's required, you got to bring in people that knows what's required. And obviously, Coach Coop understands what is required. The Raider franchise, our old franchise, understood what it took and what it required. So we're starting to go back to that. And I'm very, very excited about that. And I really hope you guys really understand that we are definitely in the building when it comes to that. Mine. All right. There we go. All right. So let's get to the comments. Let's get to the comments. Yeah, I think that I see it coming. That's all I'm saying. I see what we're doing. All right, Frank Weber, here we go. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. I mean, Tom Brady he's considered the GOAT. He got caught cheating a few times. So what they say, Raider Rule 1 is like, um, would you say you ain't cheating, you ain't trying if you ain't cheating. And rule number 2 is resort back to rule 1, right? So I get it. I remember we used to have stick 'em. I don't know if y'all understand what stick 'em. Who used to wear the stick 'em? Y'all know who it is? Who used to wear the stick 'em? Y'all remember they used to make the little cast with the hands for the defense on defenders, our defense guys, our D linemen, and our linebackers. They used to wear these little fake casts and smack you upside the head. And John Madden even kind of knew, but he didn't know, but he really did. So I feel you on that. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, bro. All right, let's see. Where am I from in the Bay? I'm from Oakland, bro. I stayed in the Northern Bay in Fairfield as well, Sassoon. I haven't got to the 916. I don't think I'm gonna go that far north, but I'm from Oakland, bro. So shout out to the 916. Asante Samuels. What's good? He had a point where he was in the conversation for best cornerbacks ever. Dion had that name and personality. Yeah, for sure. Dion definitely had the name, but Dion was really that guy though. Like that's another corner I pattern my game after too. I didn't have that 4.2 speed though, but I did have a 4.4 speed. But 4.2 and 4.4 is different night and day. But as far as taking away the ball and all that other stuff, Asante Samuels was there. He up there with the Champ Baileys and all of them. Let me see who else. What other corners I would say is the best. Revis. You can't forget Revis Island. So Asante Samuels is one of them guys. He's a dude. You feel me? So I like that comp. Asante Samuels is that guy. A little dirty, hell, a lot of dirty, especially in the 70s. Glad this young man has that knowledge right. I think what they're doing is they're making sure that we go and understand our history. I think they're really installing what it means to be a Raider because it matters. For a while, it didn't matter, and it was only a couple players that was holding that. Derek Carr was one of them. I know people might not like that. Excuse me, but Derek Carr was one of them. That's why I was upset that we were treating him the way we are. We talked about him the way he is because he was a consummate Raider. The unfortunate thing about him is he didn't win us any playoff games, so he didn't get the adulation that he probably could have got if he would have took us to a couple playoff games and won a couple playoff games. because we hold Gannon in high regard, and he didn't win us a Super Bowl. Although it was a stretch that he had us like the best team in the NFL for a couple years. So, um, I just think that if we can get on the train, he'll be fine. We'll be fine. Raiders first down. What up, bro? It's I agree. We are walking forward. Yes, yes. Yeah, Matt Millen did say that, Jack Kenneth. Thank you. I wasn't 100% sure. I was three-quarters sure, but you know how it is, how I am. I speak with so much confidence and conviction that if I'm wrong, I'm sure that they gonna point it out. So I have to kind of hedge myself in that way. But yes, you're right. It was Matt Millen. The Soul Patrol. Welcome to the Soul Patrol, young man. I like that. Good to say. I want to see 4 wins by week 13. Then, like the what'd you say? What did I say? And then like last five playoff push. Just got get the young guys to fill up how to execute the NFL schedule. Excuse me. I want to see 4 wins by week 13. And then the last five, like a playoff push, just get the young guys a feel of how to execute the NFL schedule. Yes, yes, and that's the one thing about the curve from going from rookie to second year player. If you listen to Ashton, he was just saying pretty much coming in as a rookie, you don't have an off season. You don't know when to take a vacation. You want to know when you want to work out. You want to kind of preserve your body. You want to work out at the right time, and in the second year, he's a little bit more comfortable with that. Same thing with playing these games. The first couple, 4 or 5 games might be a blur to these guys, because once training camp is over, it's the real deal Holyfield. These people that you knew in training camp that you got relationships with, they're gone. They're either playing with other teams or they're not playing football. And then you're amongst the elite guys that's going out there and that's about to put a record together, and then you got to go actually play the game. So when they get to the point where they, play a few games and calm down and it all started to sink in, then I think we'll see the best of our team, uh, and that might come later on in the year, uh, going into next year. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. Let's get this video on the algorithm so we can get people to understand Treydan Stukes is that guy. Like, we don't have to worry about him being a safety, a nickelback, because there's going to be times there are going to be other players that are going to be playing safety. I don't think he's our only safety. I think we're going to try to create packages, so that way we can put these players in and get the best out of each one of these players. Because there might be times that you see McCoy just come in and you don't know why they're sticking him there, and then we'll see as the result of the play. And then if you do have players all over like chess pieces, it makes the offensive coordinator have to figure out or scheme, okay, cool, we got to go over here because we want to avoid this. It's just like last year, they was avoiding Stokes a lot. So they was throwing on Porter a lot and Caillou Blue Kelly. And but if you got a solid guy over there in Stokes, and then you have a solid guy like whoever, insert player, I don't know who's going to be the corner over there. And then you got some good nickel safeties, and then you got a box safety in there, and you're just going to create issues in matchup. This is a matchup league. So if we can create the most amount of matchup difficulties, then that'll help us win on defense. Because our defense been very vanilla over the years, and I don't see us being vanilla on either offense or defense this year. 707. Say it backwards. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Lester Hayes used to stick him. Yeah, you already know. Freddie Belinda called. Hey, they was like Lester Hayes used to just run up on people and make them where put them on the stick them. Let me see. Oh yeah, yep. Van Egan. Let's see. Trying to see if there's any questions in here. Yeah, I agree. The defense should be hella nice this year. Now, I don't think it's going to get up to the potential that, you know, top 15 yet, but I do believe that we can get to 18, somewhere in there, 18 to 20. That'd be a good jump. I think I think we was even like overall 22 last year or something like that. As bad as our offense played, made our defense look, a lot of people don't understand our defense was a middle of the tier defense last year until our offense couldn't score more than 16 points. Like, that's a shame. It used to be where if you scored 21 points, you could win games. Now that they made the NFL more offensive friendly, I would say it's 28 points. A lot of teams put up 28 to 30. We could not put up 16 points. So consequently, our defense is going to suffer. And if you start off middle tier, and then as the year wear on, we keep turning the ball over, can't get the ball, can't sustain drives, keep going 3-and-out, get a first down, then go 3-and-out, then our defense are going to get tired. And teams understand it. All you got to do is just drag the game out. One example that I'll use, if you guys don't remember, look at the Bears game. As many times as our defense kept us in that game, we were turning the ball over in the red zone of the other team, and then our defense was stopping them and getting the ball back. And then the game was going, it was nip tuck. And then once it was at the end of the game when we needed a stop, our defense was too tired to make that stop. And so now we want to blame the defense. That's a microcosm of how our season went last year. So I think our defense can definitely be a middle of the tier defense when it's all said and done. Once we figure out who's going to be where or whose strength is what, then what'll happen is we'll definitely be top 12 defense, 15 or higher. I really see that. If you guys agree with that, put a yes in the chat. And if you guys don't agree, put a no in the chat. I'm curious. Okay, yeah, they said the Raiders was ranked 25th last year. Mhm. As bad as we were, we was ranked 25th. Crazy work. But what do you guys think about Stukes? Are you guys a little bit, you feel better about this pick as of now? Because like I said, we haven't seen him play. Still got to produce on the field. But come on, let's not act like we can't see certain things. Just like Brock Bowers, when Brock Bowers was coming in, we knew he was going to be him. We didn't know how much of him, but him he was. Because you do see some things from Brock Bowers, and you like, wow. Wow. So we do have to see some things, but you can tell or not if this guy is somewhat legit or not. You can tell if this guy is going to be a bust or not, barring injury. Knock on wood. Knock on wood if you hear me. I'm not purple boards. Let me use the head. My hand. Yes, our defense was on the field a lot last year. Our offense was rated dead last year. Yeah. So what do you expect the defense? Our offense they're not gonna be rated dead last, and our defense is gonna be middle of the tier, and then we win 3 games. That's not it's not how that works, right? So if our offense can middle tier it and our defense somewhat middle tier it, I'm thinking that equates to about 6, 7, 8 wins at least. Middle of the tier, right? 17 games is like 8, really, right? So I would like 7 games, 6, 7 games, middle of the tier, middle of the pack. We're playing the last place teams in the division, in our division too. So even if we don't split all of our uh division games and we win two, two out of the 6. You can't tell me that we can't win 4 more games and we play teams of the likes of Miami, Arizona, uh, Tennessee, Cleveland. Let me look at the schedule. Like, so 7 games is not asking too much, man. 6 games is not asking too much. Let's take a look at the schedule. So you can't tell me we got Miami, we got the Saints, which people think are going to be a little bit better than advertised. But all these teams got new stuff going on too. The Jets, the Cardinals. Come on, we should be able to win 6 to 8 games for sure. Yeah, we should be able to win 6 to 8 games. I mean, we got to have a championship mindset, y'all. And it's one thing to have a championship mindset and don't have the pieces. We actually do have the pieces to start that mindset. Are we a couple players away? I don't know. We might have them on this team. We don't know. Um, so that is the unknown right now about what we got going on, because we do have so many new pieces and new moving parts, a new head coach, a new D coordinator, a new O line. Um, let me see what else. New quarterback. I'm like, all these are premier spots where even if we were just doing that with 1 or 2 of them, it could set our franchise back for maybe a season or a half a season or 2. Especially if you have to replace your head coach, your quarterback, which usually sometimes they come in together, which is a good thing, right? To help, expedite the situation. But it's rare that you come in and then you have a new quarterback, new head coach, new defensive coordinator, and you're revamping your O line, and you're not sure what your wide receiver room look like. So um, I think we have our work cut out for us, but I do think we've been putting in work. So I think some of those things that we are really, really concerned about shouldn't be as much as a concern, because we address them. And so if it don't work out, then we have the ability to just tweak some things instead of trying to replace some things or find some things like we did our linebacking core, which I think is going to end up being an issue this year. I hate to say it. I really, really, really like the fact that we as a nation loved that we got those linebackers. So we do need some linebackers uh, that are attacking type linebackers. Because I liked, who did we send to the Patriots that everybody didn't like? Well, not everybody. A lot of people didn't like, but still had like 100 and plus tackles the whole time he was here. What was that guy name? The white running back. I mean, a white linebacker that everybody glad we that he left. Well, I can't think of his name. But anyway, I'm sure the chat gonna let me know. But a lot of his tackles were coming from behind. We need someone to go and attack the line of scrimmage. So we do have 2 linebackers that do that, but one of them is known for injuries. So we need to add some depth there. I think that's something we need to address in the draft next year. Yes, thank you, Spillane. Let me explain why he always tackle from behind. Well, because sometimes he'll get caught in the wrong hole, or he'll get caught in the wrong gap, and then he'll adjust and then still make the tackle. But I did like him because at least he was consistent. Now we're going to have some linebackers that I know they're going to attack the run, attack the quarterback, but we're going to need um, some depth in that position, because as one go down, that could create an issue. And then, because the main thing that you guys hear Pizzle say all the time, we have to stop the run. But we can't stop the run, then it's going to be an issue. It's a long day. If the defense is always on the field and other teams are controlling us, it's going to be a long day. Even if our offense is good, because the best way to beat an offense is keep them off the field. A good offense or a great offense is keep them off the field. So I think that's a position we're going to need to address, hopefully during this offseason. I mean, after teams waive a few players, then they don't make teams and whatever, then we might can get some backup guys or some depth guys or some flyers that people kind of didn't think he was going to be good based on what they saw in camp. And then he comes in with a chip on his shoulder, and it's something about putting on that silver and black that make you play a little different. So I'm thinking that we can kind of get that position shored up a little bit more. Jack can say I would admit I really like Spillane. That went to the Pats. Right. A lot of people I don't know what people expect a lot of times. Um like in the NFL, if you getting 100 plus tackles. I don't care how y'all keep trying to frame it. Like 100 plus tackles, although it's probably easier to do it now than it was when like Ray Lewis was racking them things up, and what's my man, rest in peace, Junior Seau and all them kind of linebackers. They used to go crazy with 100 tackles every year. That was all over the field. No, he don't look like that, but he's definitely in the wash or in the mix all the time. So I did like Spillane. Now we can get somebody at the depth position. Um, where he can come in sometimes and not necessarily have to use uh, Quay Walker and the Kobe Dean all the time, then that'd be good. I know we do have Eichenberg. One thing I did say last year, you can't have two white boy linebackers though. Unless you Penn State or something like that, or even maybe like the Patriots, right? But not the Raiders. So they did get rid of one of them. They got rid of the one I wouldn't have got rid of, but I guess it's a contract thing. So I think Eichenberg is in there still. He's going to get a chance to show what he got. Hopefully, he got some game. Um, Otherwise, you got to go, bro. You got to go. So we definitely need linebacker support. In my opinion. All right. See you. I want to ask you guys since we was talking about the schedule, right? And I know a lot of teams are doing the schedule release and almost tired of it, but let's look at some things real quick because I want to know if you guys are in, and I want you to put it in the chat if you're tier one, tier two, tier three, or tier four. Tier one is 10 plus wins, tier two is 7 to 9 wins, tier three is 4 to 6 wins, and tier four is all around the world, same song. Are we gonna be just like last year, kind of like the Titans did when they brought in Cam Ward? They won 3 games the year before and then won three again, or something like that, close to it. So, which tier are you guys in? Tier one, 10 wins. Tier two, 7 to 9 wins. Tier three, 4 to 6 wins. Tier four, same old song. See what you guys say. The tier that I'm in, I'm tier two, 7 to 9 wins. That's where I think we should fall at right there. And I'm standing on that. Let me see. One player to look at linebacker is what his name? Cian Sloan, I think. Highest paid undrafted free agent by the Raiders. Roseville, Rockland native. Shout out to Roseville, Rockland. That's where the Raiders. Well, no, the Niners was in Rockland, I think. Did the Raiders have camp in Roseville? I think we used to train in Rockland too, though, a while back. I feel he makes the roster. No Cal, he's a NorCal kid. Did not know that. Now he is a player that I'm watching to see if during camp his name keeps popping up. So there's a lot of undrafted free agents that a lot of people are liking, and I have a thing about if I don't, if you don't make a name for yourself, I shouldn't go looking for you. I need you to go make a name for yourself. So I'm gonna say but my eye is on him though, because I do like what I've seen so far out of him, which isn't much, but I do like as far as his demeanor. I do like it looked like he's working hard, and I do like a lot of people are bringing up his name. So that's something that we should watch for, or that's what that I'm watching for anyway. So let's see which tier you guys are looking at. Let me see. Let's see. If you watch the Chargers and Eagles, Herbert having PTSD issues right now. Yeah, like Herbert, man. If you watch the Chargers versus the Eagles, I'm gonna go look at that game. First down, Raiders first down. I've been telling people about Herbert since year two when everybody was talking about all these numbers that he was put. Oh my God, he got Hall of Fame type numbers. You see this, you see that, and I'm like, yeah, all right, that's cool. You could be able to throw yards and touchdown, but how does that equate to wins? And then how does it equate to playoff wins, right? So, he did get some wins, and they brought in a couple different regimes for him already. They didn't try to ride his arm, then they tried to temper his arm and be strategic about it and all the other stuff, and it just ain't working. And the man, he went to the playoffs, Sunshine, which I like. That's like one of my favorite players. Threw 5 interceptions and they still won the game. Like the Chargers lost the playoff game, so they already let me know that they was garbage pail kids. They're gonna start off strong. They're gonna start getting hurt, and then they're gonna wobble in at the end of the year. I think Herbert lost last year in the playoffs. So I mean, like, I hope he is having fits right now. I hope he is. Yes, I am using StreamYard. What's going on? I am using StreamYards. Willie Wayne, he said he's tier one, 10 wins. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all. Jack Kenna, matter of fact, if we do get 10 wins, that means we're gonna like they say, 10 and you get in, right? So you look in playoffs. 6 wins, that sounds like tier two, tier three. I mean, tier three, 4 to 6 wins. Uh-oh, Weber, like, are you saying tier three, or are we gonna get 3 wins? I'm gonna assume you mean tier three, 4 to 6 wins. Redder Tone, what's good with you, brethren? Tier one, all around the world, same song. I remember that movie, John Candy. Um, tier one. Oh, you got high rate. You got high praises for us as well. Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. The Niners was definitely in Rockland, and then the Raiders were in Napa in the wine country. You're right. Thank you, bro. That's why I need the OGs around me. Shout out to the 916. I'm gonna go watch that game tonight, N'Kobe Dean, because like I said, I don't know a whole bunch about N'Kobe Dean and Quay Walker and all them. I don't know a whole bunch about them. I ain't gonna even front like I do, right? And everybody was giving them the highest of praises and saying that, being that they played together, which I agree. If you playing with a teammate, that synergy does matter. It absolutely does matter. So I'm on board with these two guys, barring that any of them get hurt. Uh-oh, Willie Wayne. You know you my guy, and I really, really want to talk about this. I'm glad you brought this part up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Jack Kenna, you agree too. I'm about to go in on y'all boy the Tokyo Toe. I'm about to go in a second. Hold on. Tier three, 4 to 6 wins. Okay, that's fair. Mr. Weber, 4 to 6 wins. There's some cool stuff on StreamYard. StreamYard's getting better. As much money as they charge, they're getting better. All right, here we go. The Tokyo Toe. Let me just on and say this about this guy, right? So the Tokyo Toe, I mean, like, who doesn't like a good nickname, right? I like the good name. I actually like the story too. You know, I'm always for a person that comes from the bottom and arrive. Like, cause even like in my football career, like when I graduated from high school, I was like 5'5". So I didn't play organized football. I didn't play organized basketball. I played baseball. And in high school, I played tennis and track. And so then once I graduated, I had a growth spurt and I grew up to 6 foot, 6'1", whatever, somewhere in there. And so then I walked on, played football. I walked on to get a scholarship. So I understand going from the bottom, starting from the bottom, and now you're here. So that's why I think a lot of us are Raider fans because we love the underdog. So I'm here for the Tokyo Toe thing, right? But my thing is this. This is my question about the Tokyo Toe, Mr. Tsunami itself, because he's taking Raider Nation by storm. People are getting T-shirts of the guy before he even make the team. Want to get his jersey, which I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's cool, right? But can the man make field goals past 54 yards? If his best is 54 yards, I see that as a problem. And as a Raider fan, you should see that as a problem because we've had field goal kickers that before the league was kicking these 60-yard field goals and 58 and 59-yard field goals, we had a kicker that did that. Imagine if Janikowski was kicking with these new balloon balls now, though. Janikowski would have been going crazy. So for us to get a kicker that his highest is 54 yards, I have an issue with that. Especially with nowadays and when teams can get the kickoff, get 2 first downs, and kick a 65-yard field goal and win a game. I have a problem with it if we can only kick 54-yard field goals. What I particularly need No. What the Raiders particularly needs is a quarterback that can kick 54, 55, 56, 57, 58 at a high clip because that's what got our kicker shipped up out of here already because he was able to do it, and then the numbers start dropping. Numbers start dropping. Numbers start dropping. So we need a competent kicker that's going to be able to kick that ball from 55 plus. So that's my issue with him. Now, my second issue with him is can you kick on the road? Like, sure, you can kick inside of a dome like Airbnb Stadium, Allegiant Stadium. Yeah, that's cool, but we don't even really have no home field advantage at Airbnb Stadium yet. So, and I'm gonna call it that until we win a playoff games there too. Um, is he gonna be able to kick in the elements? Let's look at our away games this year. We got away games this year. Can he kick in Foxborough? I think we play there this year. Can he kick in Foxborough? Can he kick in Kansas City? You know, can he kick in Cleveland? So these are places that you got to be able to kick when the elements. So if you don't have the ability to kick with the elements and you're already not consistent at that range, what makes you better than Matt A with the G being silent? And he not even that consistent, but at least he understand what the NFL game requires of him. So, what makes him so much better than Matt A with the G being silent? So, I want the Tokyo Toe to make the squad, but I'm just saying, like, if we got to choose between the two, but we need to upgrade that kicker position. Let me see what you guys say about that, because that might not be a popular take in the nation, but I just had those questions before I um, fall in love with a player. Uh, and I'm like, your physical capabilities is limited. Let's see what you guys say. What up, Raider Nation? Jason, shout out to you, bro. Raiders News Central. Raiders was good. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit the and join the sub club so you can become part of the chat Raiders. Let me see. He said, my wife's side of the family is Japanese. He's already celebrated in the Japanese community. And don't get me wrong, I love that about the Raiders. I love that about the Raiders, their ability to go to um different communities and make it a melting pot. If you know anything about the Bay Area, that's how the Bay Area is. That's what made Oakland such a perfect place for the Raiders. Um, because we were the first to have Hispanic coaches, black coaches, bringing in women in head office position. And I understand that was in Vegas, but I'm just saying, just the nature of the Raiders is a melting pot. So I'm all for the Japanese kicker. Don't get me wrong. I even like the nickname Tokyo. If he start kicking him past 55 yards, I'm gonna call him the tsunami toe. The 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 Tonami. I'm gonna call it the Tonami. The Tonami toe. I'm gonna come up with something. But I'm a little concerned if you only kicking 54-yard field goals. I need y'all to help me make that sense. Make that make sense. Yeah, it is a great story. We'll talk about it if he make the team. I did not know this. He break Jason's Elam school record. I didn't know that. He likes the Raider. That's his motivation. I love that. I love that. But what we need from him is the kick field goals through the uprights. I mean, like a lot of people like wearing Raider colors. Matter of fact, the whole NFL loves Raider colors. Y'all ever notice that a lot of teams put black in their uniform that didn't never have black in their uniform? Let's start with the Niners. They're not the first to do it, but let's start with the Niners. And since I said the Niners,
if you're a Niner fan, what it do? Marshawn Lynch said, I'm a Raider.
Raider fan, you a Raider fan? So a lot of teams, Jacksonville, a lot of teams put black in their uniform because it was dominating. It looks good. Then we went to the so far the Niners got all black uniform with red numbers. Like, come on, y'all. That's crazy. So I'm here for the story, but I need field goals. I need field goals. Let me see. I thought I heard as long as it's 54. This is even worse. 52? 52 yards? So maybe I'll do a deep dive on him, his career, and then maybe I could kind of justify it because, like I said, if it's between these two guys, Matt A with the G being silent and the Tokyo Toe, then I'm probably gonna go with the Tokyo Toe because I didn't even want the Niner kicker to begin with. Did I say Niners again?
If you're a Niner fan, what it do? Marshawn Lynch said, I'm a Raider.
So yeah, I'm here for the Tokyo Toe. I need you to kick field goals, oh my guy. Let's see. Philly, Lions, San Francisco, Jags, they all took some black. Yeah, Colts. Yep, Colts. Also, where did Merritt go last year? Panthers. Now, in their expansion team, so they put the black in there and all that. A lot of teams they took that from us. And Al Davis, he fought hard for teams not to do that. And what happened was after Al Davis left, they start infiltrating the Raiders. Just like I think they're doing with us right now, even though we selling the team and Mark Davis is 30% or more owned and all that other stuff. Man, you are not about to be he he is not about to own the Raiders in a minute. think the NFL is taking over the Raiders. That's just me. That's me saying that. I think there's been a Trojan horse thing going on with the whole Tom Brady thing and everything. But hey, whatever, whatever. Everybody just want to win, and I understand this is sports entertainment, so I'm entertained. I guess I'm entertaining. So I don't know. I just think that they really want what we had, and which is that mystique, and they know that the NFL is better when we're good. So, are we selling our soul for a Super Bowl? I don't know. That's a whole another conversation. But I did do some videos about that. So make sure y'all go and look at that playlist. The playlist says commitment to new excellence. And I talk about how we start from the top down, not the player up. So I started with the TB12, Spy Tech, and Mark Davis. And I discussed that, and check those out in that playlist, guys. Let me see. He will get further range with training. Okay. Ready to tone. I read that out. They have the second best colors in your opinion. So the powder blue gonna look cold. You know that blue they have is cold. That baby blue, because the Chargers got the powder blue, but they got the baby blue, and I think their uniforms is cool. Yeah, NorCal fans get it. Let me see. That's why we should do a black off all black uniform helmets and all just to show we wear black better than anybody. And I've seen the different renditions of us wearing all black, and I'm not against it. I just think what happened is like they embedded in our culture that we're not going to change our uniform up, because if you look over the years, our uniforms haven't really changed a whole lot. The stripes might have got a little bigger or skinnier. Um, there's not really much that's changed. Um, we want to go throwback all the time, keep it throwback. I think because even our color rush colors with the all white, that was dope to me. With the old school white and gray helmet. What you mean with the inside the emblem, whatever. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to wearing all black, even with black helmets. I don't know if we should change the helmet. I don't know. I need to see a great colorway, because either wear all black. That'd be crazy, right? We're all black, even with black helmets. But I just don't see us doing that because of our old school tradition. But I'm with you on that. Somehow they took everything sports away from Oakland. So, Raider Tone, I don't know where you from. Yeah, they did, and it's a shame because it's twofold. And in that playlist, I talked about that too. Did Mark Davis fleece the Raiders? I mean, yeah, did he fleece Oakland? I think he had his part in that. Man had like $500 million on a new stadium, like, and that was all the money the Raiders was worth then. Now the Raiders are worth $10 billion. We let Las Vegas build us a stadium for us to play in, because it ain't the Raiders stadium. That's why I call it Airbnb Stadium, because we're just renting it. So I don't know, bro. And then, it doesn't really make sense to build an A's stadium because baseball doesn't turn a lot of capital. So they didn't want to build an A's stadium. They should have got the A's and the Raiders stadium together like it was before, use that same land, but they were trying to leverage, the Raiders were trying to leverage the city. The city wasn't budging because the city's like, look, we brought y'all from LA. We built Mount Davis for y'all. We created personal seating licenses. We generated money for you, but now you ain't got no money to help with the new stadium. And then you still owe bills in Oakland. So, no, we're not going to build you a new stadium. Okay. But then also, our mayor at the time did not want to allow, like, Ronnie Lott and different groups to come in and help with that. But for some reason, they were able to get money to get the stadium built in Las Vegas, and that's why I think the infiltration started right there. So it's sad that Oakland's like that. Now the whole city is pretty much a lot less desirable, and it's not like a good place of entertainment at this point. So it's just sad that that happened. Let's see. We stuck with the roots and the ballers. Yeah. Yeah. But the Oakland, yeah. Hey, but shout out to the Oakland ball. Y'all, I don't know if y'all, that's why you got to hit the subscribe button because I got the ballers. We won championship last year. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the Oakland Ballers. Atlanta Falcons, right? I like the roots too. As the A's playing right now in Sacramento and following the Raiders to Vegas, and Mary was trash. Exactly. And you know what? I'm glad that although I love the A's playing, I grew up going to so many A's games. Like my player comp for baseball, like I told you guys, I played a lot of baseball, was Ricky Henderson, right? During that time and during them days, it was something to be a part of. So the Raiders and the A's leaving definitely uprooted Oakland, and um, and I'm glad Sacramento is going to get a chance. They're getting a chance to watch the A's play, and it gives the A's a chance to have fans that really, really like them, watch them play for the last time in California. Now, as far as Vegas, I wish them the best there. I'm glad they're getting a new stadium. I hope their market gets bigger so that way they can actually acquire players and keep multiple good players. So then that way we don't have to always try to play Billy Ball against like the everybody else. And then that'll become an attractive place to play baseball. So I love the A's. I wish the best for the A's. I'm not even bitter no more about the Oakland thing because of how Oakland is turned out. And shout out to the A's, man. That new stadium is gonna be dope. Yeah, you talking about Mayor Libby? Libby, Libby, yeah, Libby shafted, but so did Mark. Mark went for the money, and it worked. But they will always have a bit. But they will always have Bay Area and LA fans. Yeah, it is, but it's not the same. That's why the Vegas Raiders is not the same as the Oakland Raiders, not even the same as the LA Raiders. The LA Raiders and the Oakland Raiders were close. They were similar. They were similar, but it was nothing like that town business. That just hit different. LA was definitely close. And when you win a Super Bowl, like we won one in Oakland, we won a couple in Oakland, we won in Oakland and in LA. If we were to win one in Vegas, which I'm predicting we will, we will, then that'll bring it closer. But it's not going to be the same as long as they're not allowing people to tailgate, as long as they're not allowing a black hole, uh, as long as they ain't allowing you to blow big in the stadium, it ain't gonna be the same. So I don't know. Maybe this is a new era for the Raiders. Maybe it is a new era for the Raiders, and I'm not necessarily mad at it because if the new era is going to be, we're going to be competent. We're going to kind of have what I hate to say is kind of like the Patriot way because we've kind of tried to emulate the Patriots in a lot of ways, and it just was a fail, especially with the Josh McDaniels thing. I don't know what we were thinking with that. I don't even think what we was thinking about the Jimmy Garoppolo thing, but as far as running a championship organization, if we're gonna run things like a championship organization, like a hybrid between what's good now plus what we know is good as far as who we were in the past, and we can mesh those two things together and create something new, then I'm with that. Because I knew that as long as the Raiders was in Vegas, they weren't going to win nothing the way that they were going to do it. Matter of fact, if they would have kept it up, I was giving them like 8 to 10 years before they was gonna start talking about moving the Raiders to be the first international team and send them to Mexico. I'm telling y'all, I'm not playing about that. The Raiders don't get their act together, they was gonna end up somewhere in Mexico or something. So I'm just hoping that we do get it together, win the Super Bowl there, and we can bring all the three nations, the LA nation, the Oakland nation, and the Las Vegas nation together. 89 Brady Bridge series, A's versus the Giants was awesome. Even the San Francisco Giants fan, unforgivable. Unforgettable. Yeah. So the 89 World Series, that was I remember where I was when the earthquake happened. And that was the A's had squad. They had Squidnard. Giants had Squidnard too though. But the A's had Squidnard. We had pitching. We had Bob Welsh. We had Stewart. We had Mike Moore. What was our other starting pitcher that was in that rotation? But because of the World Series, only two pitchers got to play. I think it was Welsh and Dave Stewart. Smoke. So and we swept them. But that was definitely, if it wasn't for the earthquake, that probably would have been, it still was lit, but it just kind of took it away from it because of the Loma Prieta collapse of the bridge, and we were it brought us all closer together as the Bay Area because there's people trapped under there, but it kind of took away some of the luster away of the fact that it was a battle of the Bay, and the Giants was dope too for sure. I even went to some Giants games, and that was sacrilegious. But I love baseball, and I liked watching good baseball. So even during that time, I definitely was watching a bunch of their games live. Right on, real talk. I respect you. Thank you, Redder Tom. I'll be. It would be a while before they have fans like they did in Oakland. Hopefully soon, but I, like I said, I think if we can win a Super Bowl, that'll do it. If we can win a Super Bowl there, McDaniel, McShitnuts. McStupid, McDummy, Mc, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't like him that much. What you know about Nick Swisher? Hey, who's that? Raider Nation Jason. Hey, where are you from, Raider Nation Jason? You already know what it. If you know, then you know. The Nick Swisher jersey was the one, right? And not to mention, Nick Swisher was dope though. He was cool though. I like Nick Swisher for sure. Nick Swisher was that guy. And a matter of fact, I think he's still tied in with the organization too. So that's a good thing. 98 and 99th and Mac. Okay. Oh yeah, you town business for real. So that's why I call this page business decision sports, because people got to make a business decision. You hear that a lot of time when it's about town business. I do content about the Bay Area teams, but I really really want to focus on the Raiders this year because I was almost like I don't want to even do any kind of Raider content because of how the nation was acting. Not so much how the Raiders was acting, because I could understand from the past how the Raider Nation is and how dysfunctional we are and when we're making competent moves and not. I could deal with that. I couldn't deal with the PTSD, the post traumatic Super Bowl deficiency fans that everything was like Chicken Little. Everything was either hella good or hella bad. Like now we're at the point we don't even care. We just want just to win. Like we starving for a big, like we're in the desert literally looking for an oasis, and we just hope that it's not an oasis. I'm not looking for an oasis. We looking at something, we hope it's not an oasis, and we're sitting there like, oh my God, I just want to win. Just want a little bit of water. That's a little bit of water. Let us live one time. I mean, like that's not our franchise. But I get it though. It's been a while since we won. So we do need to just win something. So yeah, you for sure. You already know what it is. Town business at all times. I was at the game with the Swisher bobblehead. Let's see. It says Oakland got to use 2 aces in 2 games each and was deadly for San Francisco. Yep, exactly. We got to use our top 2 aces. And Smoke, we was like winning 20 games like it wasn't nothing all the time. He was not to be played with. Boy, he's bringing back some great memories, boy. I was going to jump off the bridge, but this year I'm like, dang, we finally have hope. No. It's not the hopium. Hopium is when you hope something happened without no evidence. And I ain't trying to correct you, my brother. I know what you meant, but I want to change how we look at this because I see a lot of hopium. Like we hope that we're good. Like we hope, like hoping Pete Carroll come in and change things was even some things, and even you could have used a little faith with that because he has a track record. But we was hoping that the game didn't pass him by. We was, but once I saw Chip Kelly was there, all bets is off. Chip Kelly sabotaged everything, and I will give um, Pete Carroll some responsibility in that because you are the head guy. I don't care, and I think that he tried to separate himself so that way when they started firing people, they didn't fire him, but they got rid of Chip Kelly, and then they could have went along with the business, right? But ended up what happening is he ended up getting fired too, and that's because we really, really wanted Kubiak. And then I'll be honest, if I had a choice between Kubiak and Pete Carroll, I'm gonna go with Kubiak on Thursdays, and I'm gonna go with him on Saturdays, and I'm gonna go with him on Mondays, and I'm gonna go with him twice on Sundays. So um, sometimes, like they say, the Lord work in mysterious ways. Sometimes business work in mysterious ways. And I think this is one of those things that kind of just fell in place for us, which it normally doesn't. But that's why I'm saying things are different now because we're not basing it off of hope. I'm basing it off of faith. Faith is you got some sort of evidence of realism. It's realistic that we got a competent play caller. We know we got a competent play caller. We don't have Chip Kelly, a guy that didn't call plays in the NFL for hella years, got ran out of the NFL, like I was telling people, and and the game is above his head. And even if it wasn't above his head, he sabotaged us to the point where we couldn't succeed. So we don't need that. We don't need that. We know Kubiak can call plays in the NFL. I know you guys watch other games and y'all see these teams go back and forth with these plays, and it just boils down to who makes the better plays and who calls the best plays at the right time. Now, when you watch us play, we running these little vanilla basic plays, and we're hoping that they work, and then they don't work, and then we're like, man, we need some help. So I'm basing it off faith that we're going to be cool this year because Kubiak is showing himself to be competent. Our head office isn't doing Raider things like they normally do. We've made so many consecutive decisions as good that if we don't, then I'm not gonna lose it because we've been trying to make changes this last few seasons, which I can give us a lot of credit for because at least Mark Davis pulling the trigger on some things like getting rid of Chip Kelly in the middle of the year, getting rid of that sports special teams coordinator after we was looking trash there, even getting rid of Pete Carroll. We tried to do the right thing and hire Antonio Pierce because everybody was upset about the when we started playing better for the special teams coach that we had. And I like that guy too. But I want to call him somebody else's name, but his name was help me chat Raiders. Help me chat. Uh Bisaccia. Bisaccia. Coach Bisaccia. So we thought we was supposed to everybody kind of wanted him. Same thing kind of happened with AP, right? And so then we did hire him. But unfortunately, his lack of experience showed, and unfortunately, it didn't work. But we tried. Because normally what we do is we double down, triple down, and quadruple down on the stupidity, and then when it blow up, then we start all over again. And then we find somebody to blame. That's not what I'm seeing right now. What I'm seeing is a bunch of accountability. I'm seeing some smartness. I'm seeing some esprit de corps. I'm seeing some planning. I'm seeing some thoughtfulness, and I'm seeing some competence. So I'm basing what I think and how I feel on something that I see as tangible, not because everything is brand new. And I think that we should just win because I hope so. So I'm basing mine off of faith. So I want you guys to have faith too, brother. I was an AP fan, but Pete, yeah, I agree, and that's hard. Yeah, he should have fired his son. I agree with that. I agree. He should have. But the thing about that though is he should have never had his son there to begin with. But I think he might have had his son there so that way he can at least have an eye or ear in on what was going on with the game plan. I think Pete Carroll was more of a. I'm trying to think who hired him because I think Tip Kelly was more of a. Who was it? Mark Davis or was it Tom Brady? But either way it go, one liked it one, and the other liked it the other guy. So it was already a division in between the two. I think Chip Kelly came from Tom Brady, and so it was already a division there. And then when you put, and I think, this is what I think. I think Chip Kelly, what he was thinking was, all right, well, this old guy only going to be here for a year or two. If he don't win, they'll run him up out of here, and then I'll be the incumbent coach. Everybody was saying that when he was coming in, like that's kind of like the plan was, or that's what they had visions for him to be. So I think that's what he was thinking, and then he shouldn't have thought that because he got kicked up out of here because they really saw it for what it was worth. So, um, and plus all them stupid plays, and you could just tell by the lineups where were you lining players up on offense. That tight end ain't gonna be able to block that D end, and then you want the left tackle to block down and like that. I think a lot of that comes from the offensive coordinator himself too, because you're not going to create a blocking scheme that's not going to help the play develop and succeed. So I just think that there was like some non-meeting of the minds between those two, and it just was a weird dynamic. So it just wasn't going to work. It looked like one of the things that was going to not work at the same time. Yeah. His son could have been there, but the problem was the power that he gave his son. Mm. Excellent point. Excellent point, Freddie B. What's up with you, Freddie? Commitment to nepotism. Yeah, I tried to tell people about this, about Chip Kelly a long time ago. He got ran out the NFL because I don't know if you guys remember when he was with the Eagles. I'm trying to think of what was that corner name? The safety. Well, I can't think of. I'm having a bad time with names today, y'all. But that safety name, he was at a concert. I could see his face in my mind, but he was at a concert and he said some racial stuff, right? He said some racial stuff, and it hit the team the wrong way because it was on video. And so then Chip Kelly tried to downplay it, and they even went so far to try to make Michael Vick to be like, "Hey, Mike, uh, it's not that bad." You know what I'm saying? And so players like Shady McCoy and all them wasn't feeling that. So they ran him up out of Philly. Then he ended up with the Niners. His name was Garbage, and he was supposed to be this smart play caller. And then he went to college. Then he went to UCLA, got ran up out of there or whatever. Went he just kept going down further and further and further. Then he ended up with the job at which stopped being a head coach and he started being a coordinator. And then he got a job with Ohio State. Then won the national championship. Then all of a sudden he was going to backdoor his way back in NFL. Okay, cool, whatever. You did your bid. They let you backdoor your way back in, but then we paid him to be the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. He was getting paid more than some head coaches. Oh yeah, so that you know what that means. The standard is up here for you. You used to be a head coach. You're supposed to be this uh, um, mastermind of play calling in the whole nine. But I'm like, if players don't like you, then they're not going to run through the wall for you and you're not going to win games. Like his personality was already like standoffish, and I don't even think he liked it. I don't think he liked Geno Smith. That's why he sabotaged him because I think he wanted to get Geno Smith out of there, get another quarterback, and or it might not even. He might even did. He might went crazy with Mendoza because he's Cuban, whatever. So it ain't all about that. But I don't think he liked it, and so he would have went crazy with that. He would have went crazy with Sam Darnold. He would have went crazy with any quarterback. Like I think he was reserving some of his plays. I don't think he was as stupid as he was out there showing himself. But that's why I say he was sabotaging. Didn't they throw a pass to Incognito? Yeah. So the thing about Incognito, yeah, all right, I'm gonna leave that. Incognito, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't doubt it. Incognito was another one of them players. Everybody think he was so great. He was cool in Miami, and he said some things that was probably off base. But when he came here, when did he play? He didn't play that much. The Caillou Blue Kelly starting was a shocker. I liked Caillou Blue Kelly. And the thing about being a rookie corner in the league and the whole league picking on you, you're going to be exposed. They did the same thing to Darian Porter. See, Caillou was getting burnt so much that they put Darian Porter in, and Darian Porter got that same work. That's why I don't understand how people thinking or the person thinking that Darian Porter is the most athletic guy, and that might not mean he's the best, but how is he the most athletic guy? Uh, and you think he should start, and he was getting that same work too, and they even let Caillou start back over him. So I'm not understanding that. Not understand that. AP's had his son there, and nobody ever said anything. Did he? I was today years old, Freddie B. I was today years old. He got a son? That's cool. First thing the last staff did was take over shit all over the pre-existing leadership that we had. Right, right. And the thing about this regime, you ain't hearing nothing about the past regimes. It's like we cut bait and started over on everything. And I like that because we reestablished ourselves different than what we've been seeing. And the smallest thing, something even as small as you guys can't play with the shield on unless it looked like y'all trying to buy into what I'm talking about, right? And I think the little things like that go a long way. It goes a long way. And Kubiak addressed that. He was like, that's a team thing. Because a lot of people thought it was an individual thing. And when I first heard it, I was kind of thinking, I understand what you're saying. And I don't think you're going to be like, oh, well, he earned the shield and he earned the shield and he didn't and he earned the shield. I don't think that was what he meant. I thought it was a team thing. Like once everybody buy in or there's a great core nucleus of players that buy in, that's when you get the shield because a lot of these guys that's going to be playing the preseason ain't even going to be on the team. Now, my thing is this. What if we really did play preseason games with no shield on our helmet? I think we're going to be forced to do it. You know, the NFL probably ain't going to allow that. So I think it's kind of lip service a little bit when when they do the things that we want them doing in the meetings and all that other stuff. I think at preseason you got to put the shield on, but at the preseason level, when it started to be preseason games, you should have an idea of who is the dogs in the pack and who ain't. Yeah, Chip Kelly got paid $6 million a year. Crazy work, and I think we own for another year too. Incognito was a bully to another player in Miami, but the bet at left guard for the Raiders, career shortened by injuries. Yeah, the career was shortened by injury, and that player was Martin, I think his name for the Dolphins. What was his name? But he was soft though. He was soft. I mean, I ain't saying that. So Incognito was charged with essentially bullying the guy and calling him racial slurs, right? And I ain't saying that he right for doing that. But what I am saying is when you playing football, right, y'all can't hear what's on the field, what's not on the mic. That's not mic'd up. Y'all don't hear what's on the field, right? And a lot of people, if you haven't played football, at least at well, I guess high school they do it too, but at least at the college level too, then you might not have an idea what it's like. And when you're on the field with a bunch of grown men paying other grown people bills, then it's a whole different conversation. And so when you hear that N word, it shouldn't hit you the same as it would if I seen some white guy saying that to a black guy on the field. Like on the field, a white guy might call me that, right? Bump that. I'm probably talking to everybody that's black out there like that. And they talking like that to me. So then if a white guy say it, I might be like, oh, okay. Okay, that's how we playing that. And yeah, and I might get angry enough where I'm trying to kill him on the field, but it's a war already. So I'm already trying to find a reason to kill you anyway. But I'm just saying, I'm not gonna be butthurt about it. We playing football. And so I think that Martin guy or whatever his name was, took it a little bit too sensitive and so that got your boy shipped up out of there. And not necessarily karma, but if you reap what you sow, you reap more than you sow, and you reap if you sow. And he was sowing bad seeds as a bully, and then the game gods got you. The salad, your injuries got you hurt, and you couldn't finish your career. But I was looking forward for him to being a bully for us, though, for real. But the injury got to him. So, man, let's see what else. What else I want to talk to you guys about? Oh, Teron Johnson. Oh yeah. Teron Johnson. And people talking about him not being at camp. Speaking of business decision, he making a business decision. He making a business decision not to show up because he ain't getting no guarantee money. I think his salary is requiring him to get paid, but that he got traded. Now it's like, now I'm in a situation where I gotta play this game of contract negotiation. So he's not showing up to the voluntary um, training camps. Now, a lot of people were asking, "Hey, where is this guy? I ain't seen nothing about him." And I started paying attention, and it was true enough. And then come to find out, it was about his contract. So here's the thing: do I blame him for not being out there? No. It's a business. They don't call it show friends, they call it show business. And this is a business. And so essentially he has to play his role in that. And the Raiders are going to play their role in that. Do the Raiders have the money to give him some money, yeah, they can extend his contract, give him some guaranteed money, make him happy, right? But we're not at that position because now that we're after the draft and we see what we have some players in the secondary. He coming off an injury, so we don't really know what kind of player we getting out of him. It's not like we know that he's proven that he can be that other lockdown corner over there. We don't know that for sure. So why give him the money before his time? So now we're just playing chicken right now. Like they're both going towards each other. We're gonna see who veer off. Because as long as it's voluntary, camp and OTAs, it doesn't hurt him. But the moment that everybody's in camp and he don't show up and he's holding out because of his contract, then that's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue, and I'm curious to see how that's going to play out because that is how you kind of play these things out. It is a business first. People, someone got upset. Another Raider podcast uh, wanted to dispute what I was saying as far as I'm saying it's a business first. It's a business first because you got to take care of the business in order to get the player on the field. And so, and let me just say this too about other Raider podcasters too, because uh, my personality sometimes can be a little abrasive. But if you're from the Bay or from the town, you kind of understand it's kind of just how we are. You might not, we the most loyal, down to earth people, but at the same time, if you get to acting up, first nigga act up, first nigga get drug out. You know what I'm saying? So, um, the one way to get me to talk about you on this podcast, good, bad, or indifferent, is ignore me in the chat. Don't read one of my comments, make a comment, and then mischaracterize what I say. Or if I try to clear up what you thought I said, you ignore my comments. That's a good way for me to come on here and start talking about what we was talking about. And I would clip you and say it, but I had a couple people that I respect in this Raider nation that was like, I'm not coming to watch content to be like at each other's throat. And I agree with that, and I respect that and everything. But just like how we do for the or Just Win Baby podcast, this tailgate talk. If you ever been to a tailgate game, you know we gonna talk brash. We're gonna talk our noise and and um and you can get it too. Raiders they didn't fought each other. Raider fans didn't fought each other too. But we know that once the game starts, we're gonna go in there and watch the game, and we all Raider Nation or whatever. So you don't take it so personal. So I'm kind of that elk and that cloth where I could talk about one of y'all and not take it personal if you say something back to me if it's football related. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's perspective related. So a good way to get y'all away on this podcast is to ignore me in y'all comments and then make comments and then don't want to follow up or don't want to come on the show to have a dialogue. Um, so I'm just explaining that to y'all. So if y'all do see me clip somebody or whatever, it ain't nothing personal. It's just that I just want to give context to what it is that we're talking about. But back to Teron Johnson died. Do you guys think he's gonna get re-signed? What do you guys think? Because I think Spytek knows what he's doing. You know, they have to both dance to the music. You know, I gotta sit out. I gotta wait to camp. I gotta have my people talk to young people, and then eventually they're gonna have a meeting of the minds, and then they're gonna be a contract extension. It might not be as much as he wants, but at least he got some contract and a guarantee money, and at least that we can kind of look at our other players and see how much his value to us. So then that way we don't have to necessarily give him too much money or give him money if we don't think we even gonna keep him. Because it could be a chance that he don't make the squad, especially if the likes of Jamal McCoy keep progressing. Um, um, if the other Johnson that came from Arizona pans out, God forbid that Porter turn a corner in year two. I think we still got Greedy Vance. I like that name. That's a great football name, Greedy. I like that. So we bringing in a lot of players, UDFAs. I mean, so it all kind of depends on how this dude perform. And I think we'll have a meeting of the mind. I think Spytek doing what he's supposed to, and they both will agree, and they'll get them both on the field. But it's a business first, no different than like how Jacoby Myers last year. You see how that played out, and that was weird. And this weird plan like that, because you see what happened once he left. He went crazy when he got paid. Now, do I think we should have paid him what he got? He might have been okay in this offense, but if I need a number one receiver like that, I need him to be a playmaker. And Myers, I don't know, he definitely made plays last year for Jacksonville. So I don't know. That's up to you guys to kind of decipher that. I could have went with it either way. Yeah, I just don't like contracts being drawn out in the season like that because it's hard. It makes it hard on the player. It strains the relationships of players of the person that is under the contract because you like the guy, but he could be traded and he might be gone next week. You want to know all that stuff in training camp, man. So let me see. Yeah, it's not a mandatory training camp. Yeah, I don't blame him either. I don't blame him at all. Like I wouldn't show up either. And plus, it wouldn't make sense because let's say he go out there and get injured now. I don't know, tweak a hamstring, non-contact injury. You see how the league people getting injured with non-contact injuries. Non-contact injury, get injured. There goes the neighborhood. You just blew the bag, or you blew a bag. So it just makes sense not to show up. To see a 1 year rental, yeah. I can see us giving him a 1 year. We traded for him though, but we traded for him to try to shore up that secondary that we were lacking in. And I wasn't opposed to the signing. I just wasn't in love with it. But guys like that, they come in and they resurrect their career like Stokes. Excuse me, first round draft pick, got injured, and essentially fell off the map. And so he got a second chance or another chance with the Raiders and had a decent year, real decent, solid year. So much that the Raiders was like, all right, cool, we can keep you. You could at least be you could be the number one DB right now, but at the least you could be the number two. And if he's our number two, then I'm very confident in that. Because let's say Jermont McCoy really go out there and act up and we throw him at corner for real. I don't know. Looking good, y'all. Looking good. Let me see. Jack Kennan said, agree. I feel I keep it real and keep my chats personal one-on-one. Yeah. I remember the turf toe injury was going crazy around. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Turf toe I think it messed up Charles Woodson too. Last year it messed up your boy Glock Purdy in the Niners. That's why he was going up and down.
If you're a Niner fan, what it do? Marshawn Lynch said, you. I'm a Raider.
So people crashing out while he ain't at camp though. He's trying to get that guaranteed money and we trying not to spend money unnecessarily. I think we just doing things smart now, y'all. I just think we're just really, really, really being smart at this point. So if you want to be smart, you'll hit the subscribe button. And for those that did subscribe, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Welcome to the bar up gang. That's what I call my people really, but this is for the chat raiders. So welcome to the up gang. Welcome to the Raider Nation. Well, you are part of the Raider Nation, but just welcome to the channel, man. Y'all know what I meant, though. Lots of love. I love you guys. I love the nation. I'm a Raider. I'm a Raider. From the Bay to LA.
I'm a Raider from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Rest in peace to Al Davis.